At this time, I'd like to invite Chief Supple from the Florissant Valley Fire Protection District to just say a few words. Chief.
Thank you, and I'm honored to be here with you today. The Florissant Valley Fire Protection District, just to remind you, we protect a large portion of the city of Florissant. If you are a Florissant resident and you live on the east side of Halls Ferry, you are in the Blackjack Fire Protection District. The Florissant Valley Fire Protection District protects the west side of the city of Florissant. We also protect a large portion of unincorporated St. Louis County, Calverton Park, and a large portion of the city of Hazelwood. We protect about 80,000 residents over 21 square miles. We have 3 engine houses that are equipped with 3 ambulances, 2 engines, a ladder, and all of our equipment is provided with fully trained and fully equipped ALS, Advanced Life Support. Besides the numerous hours of training that we log and public events and volunteering at our schools and throughout the community, we continue to be one of the, if not the busiest fire district in St. Louis County. This year, we're projected to run about 10,500 calls, and if you live in the city, you can attest to that because you hear our sirens all day and all night long. Because of that, a few years ago, we incorporated and adopted a transport policy to where our ambulances, if you're a resident of Florissant, we will transport you to one of the following institutions. Will either be MOBAP, Mercy, DePaul, Christian Northwest, or Christian Northeast. And the reason for that is because our ambulances are so busy that we can't go to Barnes and to St. Anthony and to some of the farther out hospitals. It leaves the district and the area and the residents not covered for a certain period of time. So that was adopted a few years ago. Many of you know October is Fire Prevention Month, and with that, I would like to just introduce and have Cliff, our new fire marshal, stand up. This is Cliff Robinson. You'll see him around town, keeping you safe. The Fire Prevention Month, I have a tablet over here. We want to make sure that all our residents are safe, but we'll be turning our clocks back soon. And when we do that, remember to change your batteries if you need new smoke detectors. We supply all of those. And so if you have unable to do that, if you come by our table and sign up on the list, we'll come by, we'll put up smoke detectors, we'll replace your batteries. One thing, though, let me just go back real quick on the transport policy, and that is this: if you're a resident of our district, you will never see an out-of-pocket expense for a trip to, if you ever use our ambulance. That continues to this day. One last thing I'll say, and I'll conclude with this, is that we continue to team up with SSM Women's Healthcare. You'll see all the firefighters the whole month of October will be wearing pink, and that's just to remind you ladies to get your annual mammograms. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Judge Boyle was here earlier, and he had to go to, he had a court docket. So he said that if you have any questions for the judge, you could direct them to his mother, Jane Boyle, who happens to be over there. We also have our prosecuting attorney, Todd Marler, here. If you'd stand, let everybody see you. And I'd like to ask, we have a very active, very proactive Florissant City Council. The administration can't see everything and can't hear everything. The council is doing a wonderful job of staying in touch with their residents. They're probably more proactive than any council that I was ever a part of, and I want to commend them. And let's give the council a round of applause. And at this time, I'd like to ask the council president, Jackie Pagano, a lifelong resident not only of Florissant but of Ward 7, to make some remarks. And how many years have you been a resident?
A long time. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I have my little cheat sheet, so I don't have to keep looking over there to remember what ward's who. But I am very honored and privileged to work with 8 gentlemen who, I tell you, they get each other going. We are very proactive. We ask that if you have any concerns, any questions, if there's a problem that you need help, please call one of us. Even if we're not your Councilperson, we will get you in touch with who you need to be with. So I will go on with, we have Tim Lee is Ward 1, Timmy Jones, Ward 2, Joe Egan was Ward 3. He was here, but he did have to go to work today. So we have Gerard Hankey, Ward 6. I am Ward 7. Robert Parson, Ward 8. And Tommy Siam, Ward 9. So, again, thank you all for being here. And if you live in Wards 5 or 7, tonight we will be having our ward meetings. It's going to be very informative, just pertaining to our wards. That is downstairs in the J.J. Higgins Center. So, hope to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. Councilmember Caputa from Ward 4 and Shildroth from Ward 5 would like to have been here, but both of them, they couldn't get off today. So let's give the council another round of applause. So now I'm going to introduce various members of the administration to come up and say a few words. I'm going to go do the chief last because he's not here, but he might arrive while we're in progress. We already have heard from Peggy Hogan. She does an outstanding job with our senior department. Let's give her another round of applause. We love Peggy so much. And we got Sean Robertson from our theater department. Sean? But we got one of the few communities in the state that have our own theater. You can maybe address that, Sean. And we're very, very proud of it. The physical theater is right across the hall. As many of you know, it's 600 seats, I believe, and just a wonderful place for entertainment.
Want to let you know that we do have a really nice space next door that you guys should come out and see a show. So just to let you know what we have in store, the Florissant Fine Arts Council has just announced its new season, and it will start in January. And you can pick up a flyer over at the table in the corner and find out what some of those shows are starting in January. But currently, what we have in store for this fall is the Alpha Players. We'll be presenting the musical Into the Woods, opening October 6th and running for 2 weekends through October 15th. Then the Dayspring School for the Arts will present the classical ballet Napoli, October 20th and 21st. Also in October, the North Winds Concert Band will present, under the direction of Larry Marsh, a Sunday afternoon pops concert celebrating the landscapes of America, both in time and place, titled From Sea to Shining Sea on October 22nd. Coming up in November, the Hawthorne Players will present the musical The Spitfire Grill, opening November 3rd and running through November 12th. This musical is an inspiring tale of new beginnings and the power of what one person can accomplish. Now in November, the City of Florissant will proudly present the return of the St. Louis Family Theater series. The series is an outstanding program that features the best children's theater available in the entire area and within our region, and it's also the most affordable. Last year's season saw shows that had over 16,000 students from over 900 classrooms attending performances over our 4-show season. We'll begin with the show that has a really interesting title, Dragons Love Tacos. Dragons Love Tacos is brought to us by TheaterWorks USA, and it's a musical review based on beloved children's stories, and these are great shows for the kids to introduce them, for a young person's first-time theater experience. We'll close out the year with a host of holiday shows, the Best Christmas Pageant Ever, the Nutcracker, and A Christmas Carol are all some of the great shows that we have in line for this holiday season in December. One last thing, Fall Festival will be coming up October 8th. We will have the return of Bob Cuban Brass, and he'll have performances at 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock p.m. on October 8th. For ticket information, please give us a call at 921-5678 or visit us online, www.florissantmo.com. We've got great season ticket packages available for all of our different series. Once again, visit our table in the corner and we'll introduce you to some of those things. Give us a call, come out and see a show right here in Florissant. Thank you.
Our Parks Director, Todd Schmidt, has been with us for a little while. Like Ms. Pagano, he's been here a long time. He started off his career with Florissant as a lifeguard and worked his way up to Parks Director. So he's also responsible for our golf course. We also have a disc golf course. We had a tournament last week. It was beautiful weather. We had about 40 players. So we have something for everybody: horseshoes, archery, volleyball, sand volleyball, gymnasium, 2 gymnasiums, swimming pools. You got it all. Todd, you're up.
I think you did my speech for me already. And how do you follow a speaker that says something about dragons love tacos? I don't know how to follow that. Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's very encouraging to see such a great crowd here this morning. I'm going to start off with my typical town hall meeting greeting. Welcome to the James J. Egan Civic Center. I do promise that I'm going to be very brief. I do have at least one reminder that I want to pass on to you, and I also have some information about a brand new program that we just rolled out this past summer that I think you're going to be extremely interested in hearing about. But before I get to those 2 items, I definitely want to take a moment to make sure that you're aware of all of the great and outstanding services that we have available through your Parks and Recreation Department. Whether it's indoors or outdoors, I'm sure we've got something for you or for any member of your family. If you're an outdoor enthusiast, did you know that there are over 400 acres of parkland in our beautiful city of Florissant? We have 19 parks that we maintain that have everything from, like the mayor had mentioned, playgrounds to pavilions, gazebos, picnic areas, horseshoe pits, sand volleyball courts, handball courts, tennis courts, ball fields, soccer fields, softball fields. And we actually just started a football field. We're running a football, we're not running it, but we're making a football field available for a football league out at Coke Park now. Just started up this past weekend. Did you know we have a nature lodge overlooking the beautiful bluffs of the Missouri River? And that nature lodge is available for you if you're interested in renting it for a private family function. That's located up at Sunset Park, of course. And then speaking of Sunset Park, we have a trail, a paved walking, biking path that starts or ends, however which way you're going, on the banks of the Missouri River, runs through Sunset Park, down Humes Lane, through St. Ferdinand Park, under US Highway 67, and ends in Coldwater Commons Park, which is right near the old St. Ferdinand Shrine. The mayor mentioned a disc golf course, an 18-hole disc golf course. So if you're not an outdoor enthusiast, I'm sure we've got something indoors. I'm sure we got you covered, no pun intended. We've got the James J. Egan Civic Center, of course, here, and then on the other side of town, the west side of town, we've got the JFK Community Center. The mayor mentioned something about already about the state-of-the-art fitness centers. We've got recreation lounges. We've got rooms that are available at each of these centers that are available for rental purposes, for family functions. At the JFK Center, we've got an indoor handball and racquetball court. Here we've got the indoor pool. Some swimmers here, maybe not golfers. Do we have any swimmers here at the pool? We got one. We got lots of classes and programs, hundreds and hundreds of classes and programs and activities that we schedule throughout the entire year. And if we don't have a program that's available to you, we do have guides that you can take a look at. If we don't have a program that suits your needs, then by all means, give us a call. A lot of our programs were started from people like you giving us a call and saying, why don't you offer this, or why don't you have this? So we do have a lot of programs. Give us a call if you want to start a new program. And speaking of programs, I guess there's my segue into what I was going to tell you about. Silver sneakers. Hands? Anybody know silver sneakers? Okay, we got a few of those. I am happy to announce that just recently, this past summer, the James J. Egan Civic Center and the JFK Community Center are now participating locations of the Silver Sneakers program. If you're not familiar with the Silver Sneakers program, in a nutshell, it's a fabulous program. It basically allows you to use our facilities free of charge. But you need to contact your health insurance carrier, make sure that you are eligible to enroll in the Silver Sneakers program. Once you enroll, you'll get an ID card. It's actually going to be a Healthways ID card. Just bring that into either one of our centers, our customer service desk, and then we will print up a photo ID card specifically that says Silver Sneakers for you. And what that does is it gives you the facility membership that normally costs people. You'll get it free of charge. You can come in anytime to either one of our centers, use our fitness centers, our swimming pool during public sessions, our gymnasium if you want to walk during inclement weather. It's a fabulous program that we are now happy to be a part of. Just make sure you bring your ID card in when you come in, which I guess is a segue into the one thing I was going to remind you about, is the ID cards. I'm sure most of you have your Florissant photo ID cards or your Golden Age Pass cards. I need to remind you that these cards will expire at the end of this year, on December 31st of 2017. You will need to get them renewed. It's a very simple process. Beginning December 1st, not beforehand, but December 1st, you can come into either one of our facilities, the Egan Center or the JFK Center, bring a photo ID, and our staff will just renew your card for the next 2 years. Cards have to be renewed every even-numbered year, so that's why it's going to expire at the end of 2017. So I think that's all I've got for you today. I appreciate the time and the attention that you've given to me. I do have some brochures and information about everything I talked about over here available to you. So again, thank you. Got it?
Thanks, Todd. Sonia, as I said, is our Human Resource Director. I'm going to have her come up, talk about some of the summer job opportunities and part-time opportunities. We're always looking for candidates for lifeguard, and so if you have grandchildren or if you pass the word on, it's always we're always looking for. We have more opportunities sometimes, it seems like, than we do candidates for the jobs, especially when it comes to the youth of the community. So Sonia's doing a great job as our Human Resource Director, but I wanted her to at least get you aware that we're always looking for young people to fill these part-time positions.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, Mayor. As he said, we do have a lot of opportunities during our spring and summer season, and this December 28th, between 1:30 and 3 o'clock, we will be having a seasonal job fair, and we're also going to do another one in the spring. But we hire over 200 individuals during our spring and summer, and so we're always looking for new candidates, and especially residents. We love to have our residents who are, of our community and work in our community. So we'd love to have you part of our staff. So if you have any family members or friends, residents, neighbors that would be interested, we'd love to have you, and stop by and see me at the Government Center. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm going to ask Karen Goodwin to come up and just say a few words. Our city clerk is responsible for so many things, and it's one of those persons that maybe you just kind of take for granted, but it's a very, very important position. She is the go-to person for documents and information, the official record of the city, the keeping track of the official minutes and all the ordinances and resolutions and everything else. So Karen Goodwin, she's been our city clerk for a number of years.
Good morning, everyone. As you know, I'm the city clerk. I'm kind of your liaison to the city council and to the records of the city. I don't know if any of you know, but we have records back well over 100 years, and they're handwritten, they're beautiful books that we try to preserve, and we keep them in a climate-controlled room. If anybody ever wants to see them, they're available. I can always show them to you. I also take care of the boards and commissions. We try to keep track of the boards and commissions, and if anybody would like to serve on a board or commission, we take those applications and forward them on to the council so that they can make the appointments. We also help you to communicate with your council, and if you have any questions or you need to get some information to the council, we can do that. We also, there's so many other things. Anyway, otherwise, we are always available for you. That's what we do. We take care of our residents. So if you have any questions or just need to look up some stuff in the history of the city, that's what we do. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to ask Economic Development Director Bob Russell to share some of the exciting developments. We have a lot of interest in investing in our city. I'm not going to steal his thunder, but he's got kind of a laundry list of all the projects that are fairly recent. I would like to tell you about the most exciting project that we're working on, but then Bob would have to kill me.
Good morning, everyone. $12,500,000 in projects are underway on Lindbergh by 5 national companies. That's showing a high level of interest in the city of Florissant and the confidence they show in our economy and in our city. And they are starting up near Cross Keys, Raising Cane's. It's under construction now, right next to Cross Keys. Raising Cane's is a chicken corporation. They have 700 or 800 stores across the United States. They're basically a competitor for Chick-fil-A. Regions Bank is under construction next to Deerberg's. They've been coming there for 5 years. They finally pulled the trigger, and that's underway also. U-Haul Storage is the large 3-story climate-controlled, air-conditioned, heated facility next to the police department. Should be open right after the first of the year. Popeye's Chicken is next to Culver's. They are under heavy construction as of yesterday. They expect to open by Christmas. They said they can build them in 45 days. We'll see. But one interesting point about this franchisee that has Popeyes, and all the Popeyes stores are franchisees. This particular franchisee owns 150 Popeyes across the United States. The other one along Lindbergh, it's in the Cross Keys Shopping Center, is DeVita Dialysis. They're taking the space and redoing the space where the beauty shop was, or beauty store was. In addition to that, we have on Newhall's Ferry, the First Collinsville Bank is going to remodel and open the building that was formerly occupied by Bloomer's Florist. That's all the construction so far. On some of the recently owned, there's 2 here that stand out. And the first one is McAllister's Deli. McAllister's Deli opened in the former Bob Evans store. And I've been up there since they opened once a week, and they've reported up as of yesterday that they are #1 in sales in the United States of all the McAllisters, and that they had the largest opening week in sales anywhere ever for the corporation of McAllisters. Another one that kind of a little shocking is Smoothie King. They make the smoothies. They're near Penn Station. It's a small store. They're reporting that they're #1 in sales out of 900 stores across the U.S. It's hard to believe, but that's what they're reporting. And lastly, St. Vincent de Paul opened a real nice facility up in Paddock Center, right on the end of Paddock Shopping Center. So if you have a chance to visit that store, it's a really good organization. And lastly, we have 3 projects that the mayor knows about, and if he opens his mouth, I will have to kill him, but they're still in due diligence, and we'll report to you as these projects are, that we are told that we can bring them forward. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Bob. But next time you only get one lastly. I was with, I was at a presentation by Archbishop Carlson, not Carlson, his predecessor, Burke. He was in St. Louis for a speaking engagement, and he said, "I'd like to close, I want to close, but I just can't close." And he went on and on and on. You know, in every city, in every color world, we live in a color world, but we need to have one black and white TV, one black and white person. And that black and white person in our city is Randy McDaniel. I'd like Randy to come on up. Randy and I have the tremendous responsibility every year to provide a prudent, sustainable, balanced budget to continue providing all the services that our residents have come to expect from our great city. This is a heck of a challenge. It's something that we have to hammer out with the City Council every year. It creates the most tense time of year between the administration and the council, and that's probably as it should be. That's the way it's always been, and that's the way it always will be in the future. But you need somebody like Randy to just pretty much give you just the facts, ma'am. Randy McDaniel.
Morning. I don't know what I'm going to have to pay him to quit calling me up here, but glad to be here. We, in the finance department, we handle all the cash. I've been coming to these things for many years now, and nobody ever comes to talk to me. So this year I had a bag of cash, and I was going to hand it out, but Mayor wouldn't let me bring it. I don't get that. I thought I'd be pretty popular if I did that, but for whatever reason, I didn't get to do that. But anyway, if you have any questions on the finances or the budget or anything like that, I'll be over here. I'll be the guy nobody's talking to, but you're welcome to talk to me. Thank you.
That's about as colorful as it gets from Randy. Lou Gerald is our Director of Public Works. He wears a lot of hats, is in charge of a lot of things. The infrastructure of the city, working with all the different utility agencies and highway agencies, code enforcement, just so many hats that he has to wear. And I've been very fortunate to have had a relationship with Lou almost as long as I've been associated with the city. I came on board in '76 as a city engineer, and then elected as the councilman in '79, and Lou came on board as the public works director in '81. So Lou is going to tell you a little bit about some of the progress that we've been making. We've got some great news. We're making some great strides with Proposition S. I want to again thank the City Council and the citizens for their support for Proposition S, because it's given us the resources that we need to maintain our streets indefinitely. Those of you that live on Keevan and some of the other streets that we've put the curbs back in, you know how fantastic those streets turned out. Lou.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning. Again, my name's Lou Gerald, Director of Public Works and Health. I didn't know that until the day after I got hired. They threw in the health on me real quick. But as you all know, as you may all know, I supervise 4 separate divisions, the health, street, building, and engineering divisions. But I'd like to just talk to you about 3 specific areas. One is we've got a brochure here called The Good Neighbor, a Guide to Being a Good Neighbor. Another one we're going to talk about areas is our street improvements, and then what we do, the third area would be what we do to maintain property values and to curb crime in the city of Florissant. But first, this brochure, just to kind of recap, we've got this over at the table. It talks about mowing your yard, which is kind of a novel idea to a lot of folks here in town. If you don't want to mow your yard, we can mow it for you, $180. That usually only happens one time. Trees and bushes, keep your trees and bushes trimmed. Make sure the weeds and vines don't grow up on your fences and aggravate your neighbor. Pick up after your dog waste. There's nothing worse than having a barbecue and your neighbor's got 4 or 5 dogs over there and the smell comes over. Barking dogs late at night, not a good thing. Cats and dogs, don't let them run loose and do their business on your neighbors. Sidewalks, try and keep your sidewalks clear of sweet gum balls and what have you. If there's a trip hazard, if the sidewalk is falling apart, get a hold of us. We have a sidewalk replacement program. We can take care of Junky yards, just plain old junky yards. Too much stuff in the yards, makes the whole neighborhood look bad. Report that to us and we'll see what we can do. House repairs, just basic stuff, you know, just fix the gutters, fix the downspouts, scrape and paint, just real basic stuff everybody needs to do. Parked cars. If you're going to have a big party and you're going to have 20 people over, advise your neighbors. Let them know you're going to be a little bit of an inconvenience. You're sorry. They're going to park all up and down the street, and then when they get done, they go home, get out and pick up all the trash. Just being a good neighbor. Snowstorms. Good idea to, if you can pull your car off the street, our snow plows may not clip your mirror. So that's always a problem. It always slows us down when we've got a creep between two cars. So if you can pull off the street when we're doing snow removal, that's a great idea. Again, party time, loud music. You don't want to get a visit from our police department. We do have noise ordinances. We do have public nuisance ordinances. So just be considerate. Usually after 9 p.m. you need to crank it down. Trash containers, keep them back up by the house. Sump pumps, don't throw the water onto your neighbors. Ponding water, if you've got a ponding water issue, you might have a mosquito problem. You might have a smell problem, so try and take care of those issues. Christmas lights, seasonal lights. They're not made for all year round. They're not made for all types of weather, so you need to pull them down when the season's over. So these are some of the issues that are in the guide to being a good neighbor that we get a lot of complaints on, and that maybe you can help us curb. The next one is all the street work that we've got going on. As Mayor mentioned, Prop S that was passed, when was that? Back in 2011, I think it was. No, the 2015. Quarter cent sales tax brings in about $1.5 million. This year, we're doing a lot of street work in the city. Major street improvements on Keevan are finished, slurry seals done, major streets on where we're doing overlay work on about 13 different streets throughout the city. We've got St. Marie that we're working on. We've got a concrete pavement replacement project. That's going to be close to $560,000. St. Anthony Lane Bridge replacement in Ward 7, I believe. That's going to be coming up shortly. We got a North Lafayette Street and Stormwater project. That's a $2.7 million project. You count all those projects in with St. Louis County is doing Shackelford, and I know it's taken forever, but a lot of utilities and a lot of relocations over there. So hopefully they'll be done October 2018. That sounds like a long time from now. I travel down Shackelford every week, and it's like, man, let's get done. So I feel all your pain. I travel that street. But then in Washington, you know, $1 million on doing Washington from 67 up to St. Pierre, actually. That was been a mess for a long time. So just in this work alone, we're talking almost $15 million of work that has been done, that's being done, and that will be done within the next year in and around the city of Florissant. You take that along with the millions of dollars that MSD spends on infrastructure here in town, and Missouri American Water and Ameren UE, and you kind of feel embarrassed when you hear about all the flooding and damage due to the hurricanes. And I read the other day about wildfires up in Montana, Oregon, Washington, California, Idaho, Utah. Hundreds of thousands of acres are being burned up. The Department of Interior, or the Forest Service, has already spent $1.75 billion on that. And as if the hurricanes and the wind and the rain and the flooding and the wildfires ain't enough, we've got earthquakes in Mexico. We had an earthquake just recently in Oklahoma and one in Idaho. So if anybody here does not feel blessed, I mean, we really are with resort weather outside and all the infrastructure that we have going on in and around City of Florissant. You really have to feel blessed. The other thing is, I was at an international Public Works Conference down in Orlando. I was given a presentation on how to maintain property values in your city, and they get folks from all over the world, all over the United States, plus Canada, Mexico, Australia, 4 or 5 other nations. And I started talking about what we do as far as property values in the city of Florissant. We do the occupancy inspections, the occupancy permits, exterior drive-bys. We have the residential renter's license, which Prop R passed April 2016. By the way, and that includes, shortly after that, we include the crime-free certifications to get your renter's license. We've had 573 folks come through that program. We've got a 3-strike policy on nuisance violations. Vacant property registration, that passed in 2016. Distressed homes program, dangerous building, abandoned properties, and property acquisition programs. We have a lot of programs. And when I was giving the presentation, I was asking, how many people out in the audience do any of these things? And a few of them would do maybe exterior inspections. There was one gal in Utah that kind of was keeping pace with me. But I would venture to say that there's very few, if any, cities in the nation that do all that we do as far as maintaining property values. And just the crime-free certification program. Crime-free is a term that it's a term that was developed by the police department. It's a program that was developed out in Arizona, and simply stated, the crime-free program is that if you keep track of your derelict properties, if you monitor, manage, and maintain vacant properties, if you go after the broken windows, the hanging gutters, the trash and debris, the weeds, that you actually do curb crime. So as much as our police department does a fantastic job, we're here to help with property maintenance and curbing crime by maintaining derelict and vacant properties in the city. So like I said, I doubt if there's any city that does as much as City of Florissant does in these areas. And that's all I have. Thank you.
And just to follow up on that a little bit, you may have heard reports or maybe know someone that owns property, and we get a little bit of complaining about having to do it, but I think after they've gone to the crime-free classes, the landlords that go through these classes, they learn how to screen their potential renters. They learn how to be proactive, to get their renters to be responsible, wholesome citizens. And all we really want is to have wholesome citizens live in our city. We don't care what continent your ancestors came from. We don't care anything as long as you're a wholesome person. And so with these crime-free classes that our landlords are taking, hopefully is going to go a long way so that we have wholesome people settle here in our city. I want to thank Council members Pagano and Jones for their proactive approach. They kind of stole some of these ideas from Kansas City and from Belleville, Illinois, and it was a little bit of a struggle getting these things implemented, but we're going a long way. We're going full speed ahead to get a handle on code enforcement. It's the second most important thing in our city right now, and it didn't used to be, but it is now, and we're getting a handle on it. But the most important thing in our city is what we're going to talk about now, is safety. We have a historic, beautiful city, and the only reason that we can even have such a great quality of life here is because we feel safe, because we have such an outstanding police department. I'll put them up against anybody in the nation. Let's give our police a big round of applause. And on cue, look who walks right in the door. You were waiting for that, weren't you, Chief? I was just done with the build-up, and I was saying, well, I guess we'll have to go on without him. And here he is, our Chief of Police, Tim Lowry. What an entry. And while he's on his way up, I know you don't need to be reminded, but he grew up here in Florissant. His father was a chief. His father was a mayor. He's got Florissant in his blood, and he loves the city, lives in this city, and we're just so happy to have him as our chief of police.
So obviously, I was at another meeting this morning, and I appreciate those who stuck around to hear me. I see a lot of people already left. I think I'm last, right? So I get you guys to about 1 o'clock or so. But I want to go on, and I want to introduce who's here with me today and tell you what their positions are. First, Major Fagan. I think he's already introduced, but he's my assistant police chief. I got Captain Randy Bowden. Randy's in charge of he's in charge of support services. Captain Vince Godfrey. So Vince is in charge of all the uniform officers. So if you got to complain to uniform officers, that's the man to talk to. No, they do. He does an outstanding job, and I can tell you his people, as I think all of my people do in the police department, do an outstanding job. I appreciate what Vince does. Next to him is Officer Steve Johnson. About a year ago, we took on a new position in the police department. He's our business liaison officer. We know that our businesses are important to the city of Florissant and to all of us. So Steve has taken on that role of being the business liaison. So he's out there talking to the business owners, dealing with the things that are in our shopping centers, making sure that our shopping centers are safe for everybody to go to. Next to him is Steve Michael. Steve is our public information officer. Next to him is Phil Busby. He's our traffic officer. And then next to him is, I think he's one of the few guys still got gray hair around the police department, Gary Schlottig. So Gary is one of our code enforcement officers. So if you guys, after the meeting, if you guys have any questions about code enforcement, Gary's the guy to talk to. Traffic, Phil is the guy to talk to. I'm going to talk a little bit about Neighborhood Watch, but that's perfect for Steve Michael if you want that. And I forgot one other person over here. Sorry, he's not in uniform, that's why. This is Lieutenant Dennis Dehart. He's in charge of our investigation division. And Dennis does an outstanding job in that position. He's taken over about the last month or so, and he's been with us about 15, 16 years, kind of rose through the ranks as being an investigator, a detective sergeant, and now he's the commander of investigation. So if you have anything that's related to investigations, Dennis is the guy to talk to. So one thing I did want to talk about, and there's a couple things I want to talk about. I know you guys have had a long day already. I know that we had the unfortunate incident that happened at Deerberg's where the lady was, her purse was snatched and they ran over her, caused very serious injuries to her. Something that doesn't happen in the city of Florissant. We're not going to tolerate to happen in the city of Florissant. And I'll tell you that it's something that really hits home. I mean, my mother goes shopping at that store every other day. So it really hits home, plus all of you guys shop at that store. And so something that was very serious that happened. I appreciate all the help that we got from the people that rendered aid to the lady that was injured, seriously injured, to the information that was provided to my officers responding to the call. And within 8 hours, we had 2 of the 3 suspects already in custody. A lot of that was because, of good hard work by my police department. But I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of it has to do with our citizens. That was a group of people coming together to help us solve that very serious crime. And I promise you, those things are not tolerated. I will tell you that I've been asked this many a times. Myself and Officer Michael, we're in the process right now of putting some type of program together for the seniors, to how to defend themselves, what to look for on our shopping center parking lots, just to be aware. And so we're going to be rolling that out soon. And I really would love to see all the seniors attend that. I'll have as many sessions as I can. I'm going to have a former officer, Tom Jost, who's just an expert in defensive tactics. He's going to talk about that. But I'm willing to have as many sessions as I can have because I really want to see all of our seniors go through this program because I think it's extremely important for everybody to be aware of their surroundings and how they can defend themselves and something like that. So that's something I'm going to be rolling out. And then the other thing I'm going to talk about is how important our Neighborhood Watch program is. And I know that you guys probably heard me talk about this every time I speak because it's extremely important. It's you guys watching out for your neighbors, getting the information to us. My police officers, I think, do an outstanding job patrolling your neighborhoods, but no one knows your neighborhood better than you. You guys know who looks suspicious. You guys know who shouldn't be at the neighbor's house. And so I really encourage everybody to join a Neighborhood Watch group, form a Neighborhood Watch group. Steve, I know, has got all the information over there, but it really is the most important. There's a stat that I didn't know until I heard this yesterday. There's only 2% of our residents that are part of Neighborhood Watch today. And that's, you know, guys, it's so important for us to take care of each other and watch out for each other. And I really would love to get that a lot higher. I mean, I'd love to have 100%, but 2% is just not acceptable. We have to help each other out. We got to worry about our neighborhoods. And so I really want to encourage everybody to walk over and see Steve Michael, get a group together in your neighborhood. Myself, Steve Michael, other members of my command staff will stop by and visit your meetings. We'll help you get going, but we really do believe that that's extremely important to keep our city safe. And with that, I'll turn it back over to the mayor. I don't want to keep too much of your time, but thank you very much, and I'm glad I got here. Thank you.
I was just informed that he was waiting behind the door just for the very perfect moment to make his entry. You know, you always forget somebody, but I think they snuck in on me, and we have our Community Development Director, Carol O'Mara, here. I don't know if you were here earlier. She was hiding with all the uniforms over there. But Carol O'Mara, why don't you stand up, Carol? Stand up. She is, one of the official duties is to handle the community development block grant money. We're a city over 50,000. We want to stay a city over 50,000. That's, otherwise we'd have to work through St. Louis County for that. That's the money that we use when people are, maybe they're a little bit income challenged, but they do keep good care of their property and they need a little help. So they get some grant money to help them with home improvements, and it helps our city continue to look well maintained. These grants are given to people that are very deserving, and it goes to making our property values stay high. So, and also Carol she's kind of like an ombudsman, and she knows all the different agencies where people that are maybe a little down on their luck can go to maybe get a little help. So it allows Florissant to go a little bit beyond what a normal government would do. The last thing that I'd like to do, and I have to do it because it's what I signed up for once in a while, and I had to do it this morning, I have to say no once in a while. And it hurts to have to say no, we can't help you. But we hardly ever have to say we just completely can't help you, because Carol usually knows some resource that you can resort to get some help. Before I close, I just want to share with you, I'm on a committee, a statewide committee, 21st Century Transportation Task Force. I was appointed to that committee by Senator Gina Walsh. I happen to be the only municipal official on that committee, which is comprised of about half of its senators and representatives, and then the rest of them are from private industry and some private citizens. I think I bring a little bit to the table there. You know, I was at the Navy Seabees building highways and bridges in Vietnam, and I was with the Missouri Highway Department before I came to Florissant. I have a degree from Rolla in civil engineering. I was city engineer here, and I've been in public service practically my entire adult life. And I really am concerned about the lack of will by the state government to take care of our infrastructure. I've been very vocal about it. I've been concerned about it for a long time, and I guess that's why Gina Walsh saw fit to appoint me to that commission. One of the reasons why they form commissions a lot of times is just to keep kicking the can down the road and maybe not have the will to really do something. I was a little dismayed when our governor was interviewed by Mike Bush after Channel 5 did a expose about all the concrete chunks falling off the bridge. If you go underneath the 270 overpass at Florissant Road, you'll notice it has nets underneath it to keep the concrete chunks from falling on the hood or the windshield of your car. And so after the expose, the governor was asked about fuel tax increase, a modest fuel tax increase. And he in my opinion, cavalierly said, I don't think that people of Missouri are ready for a fuel tax increase. And I say it's his job to get them ready, just like it was my job to convince the city council and for us to convince you to give us these Prop S money to maintain Florissant streets. So I'm committed to try to get the state legislature, who has the ability to raise the fuel tax 2 cents. They can do it at least once. There's some question as to whether they can do it twice. But if they do it once, then we'll be equal to Illinois. Illinois has a 19 cents fuel tax. Missouri has 17. Kansas has 20. So if they do it twice, then we'll be about equal with Kansas. The only state that has the same fuel tax as we do is Arkansas, but they have a sales tax to cover more income to cover the highways. The 2 cents really won't solve all the highway problems that we have in Missouri, but it'll give us water wings so that we don't sink as fast. And it gives us time to find a long-range solution for what are we going to do with Highway 70 or Highway 44. I just got done, I'd have to travel 70 fairly frequently, and now because I had to go to the Transportation Commission meeting, we have meetings every other week, every other month with the Mayor Slay of Kansas City, usually in Columbia or Jeff City. We just went to the Municipal League, council members Pagano, Jones, and Caputa, and I went to the Municipal League meeting at the lake. But the Highway 70 is in bad need of renovation, so is Highway 44, and not far behind it, 55. Missouri's economic engine is going to be tied to transportation. So this is a very important work that we're doing. The next meeting is next Wednesday in Kirksville. In October, I think it's the 18th of October, I'm not sure 100% about that date, but it's going to be in St. Louis, and then we're going to be in Cape Girardeau. Next week, I'm also on phone conferences. We're going to have a phone conference meeting. The committee at large is going to have a meeting, and I'm going to have a phone conference on Monday and Tuesday on this. There's a couple of senators that share my concern and my approach. I think it's a two-approach thing, is where we get the 2 cents or the 4 cents to keep what we got, and then we're going to have to find some other solutions. We have a lot of stakeholders weighing in. There's people that love and people that hate toll roads, and I doubt if toll roads are going to get any traction in Missouri, although it's worked in other parts of the country. It doesn't seem to be a viable option. It doesn't seem to be a public will to do that, so we're going to have to do it with some other option, and probably the most obvious option is going to be fuel tax or some other funding mechanism. But it's going to be a hard debate. So this is some of the stuff that we're dealing with outside of our city government. I'm very pleased and proud and humbled by being able to work with outstanding city council and outstanding members of the administration. I'm very fulfilled by doing the job for you as the mayor of the city. Very proud to be the mayor of the city of Florissant. With that, I'm going to end this, and we'll be here afterwards to answer any questions that you have on any issues that are of concern to you. Thanks for coming this morning.